The September 10th primary election to name a Democratic candidate for mayor is almost here, and you've heard the four candidates at numerous debates and forums around Norwalk already. So instead, we're asking public faces in the Norwalk community who they support and, more importantly, why. In this segment, we speak to Kendall Elementary School Principal Tony Ditrio, who supports Matt Miklave. Tony, in your own words, why do you support Matt Miklave?
Well, I started to know Matt when I first got involved in politics about 2.5 years ago. And actually, Bruce Morris brought me in, kind of potentially maybe running for an office. I'd been kind of out in the public with my my union work and school system work and getting out there, and so I thought I might be able to change things from within. Matt is in District A. I lived in District A at the time, so we met kind of in the District A committee. Okay. And from that time, and then when we had a lot of issues in education, Matt became the person I could go to and try and see if I could get some help. So kind of formed a friendship, and when he decided he was going to run, he asked if I would join his team, and I eagerly did.
Okay. So give me, and as a principal and a longtime educator, I have a feeling where you're going to go with this. But
maybe not.
Maybe not. Give me one issue that is important to you and why Matt's stance on that issue, as far as you understand it, why Matt's stance is something that you gravitated toward.
It's actually not education.
Okay, great.
Matt has a vision for making Norwalk what I think Norwalk can be. Mm-hmm. I've lived in Norwalk about 40 years now. I've been part of the Norwalk community as an educator for 45 years. Mm-hmm. This community has a tremendous amount of potential, but we don't seem to be moving. We seem to be stagnant. We seem to just be staying the same way. And it seems for a long time. This is not just the last few years.
Are you talking economically?
Just in quality of life. This could be a vibrant community with a lot of growth. We have more empty stores than stores that are filled. I know the economy's bad, but I think we have sort of hunkered down. Instead of trying to fight our way out, use the resources we have, we've kind of decided to just try and get through it. So we're holding on to our rainy day fund. We're holding on to our AAA bond rating. But in the meantime, citizens are hurting, and we're not getting anywhere. We have great facilities here. We're by the water. We have lots of wonderful things and lots of wonderful people. We're diverse. We need to move forward. And I think Matt really has a vision to make us move forward and make this a wonderful place to live.
What in particular about his vision do you think will work?
Well, I think he wants to grow business. He has a plan to try and get us moving again, so we're moving forward. You know, when business is moving forward, we're getting more taxes in, it's better for the people, quality of life for everybody gets better. It's just that whole picture about improving it. And he just has such an optimistic view of what Norwalk can be. And I think he really has a way to do that, and he has a plan. I think unlike the other candidates, the difference is Matt has a plan. And he has a way to do it and an eagerness to do it. He's studied all other communities. He's looked for different ways to go about it. He's not hunkering down. He's ready to move. And I think that that excites me, to think that we can be that way again. And to be honest with you, the school system was that way too. And I think we've kind of had the same thing happen to us. We're stagnant.
Well, that's kind of what I was going into my next question for. You've written op-eds from the view of an educator.
Right.
You talk about, Matt, in your opinion, has the best vision for not just the city, but particularly the schools. Getting the Board of Education in a better place, getting the schools in a better place. In your opinion, what does need fixing in the schools, and how has Matt explained to you how he plans to do it?
All right, well, I think maybe I've explained more to Matt
than
Matt's explained to me. And I think that's the thing, he's listened. There's a lot of talk out there about what's wrong with the school system, what needs to be done. And it seems to focus around money, budgets. I don't think that's the main reason why I think Matt is going to be good for education. If you listen to the last couple of debates, when the candidates are asked about education, I think everybody says, well, we've got to make better schools. We've got to give kids a quality education. And when they're pinpointed to talk about something that's important, they talk about the library aids. And if you talk to my colleagues, the administrators in Norwalk, if you talk to the teachers and you ask them what's the most important thing, it's not the library aids. So they're just taking what some people who came to board meetings got out there as a big issue. It was overhyped. It is not the reason for us to restore them. They're not number one. We're hurting with a lot of other things. So you listen to Matt's answer, and it's about Common Core, the real challenges that face us, and how we can address those. It's not like talking about whatever someone perceives as important. And so I think his vision for what needs to be done will be based on what the teachers and the administrators believe need to be done. I think we know. We're there. And I think that even the board sometimes has lost track in their efforts to try to reflect the community values.
And the last question would be, all Democratic candidates, one of the main things they're pushing is really simple change. Change from the current administration, change from the sort of way Norwalk has handled its business over the last decade or so. On the flip side, you have somebody like Matt who is pushing that, but at the same time, he's been on and off the Common Council for the better part since 2001. What would you say to somebody who looks at Matt and says, hey, he's pushing change, but he's had a hand in the city as well, so maybe they feel in some ways he's been a part of the way Norwalk's been run over the last 10 years and they don't agree with it?
Okay, well, one council member can't change everything.
Sure.
And he's always been the minority. So a lot of the ideas that Matt has, and if you've gone to council meetings, you've listened, he has a lot of ideas. And he can talk about them for a long time. It's a good thing to have the ideas, but you need to have the position to be able to follow through on them. And so I don't think he's an insider in any shape or form. We're the outsiders. We're not part of the party politics. You have two inside candidates who are fighting themselves. We've approached this from day one as Democrats, but not looking at it as a partisan type issue. We think the Democratic Party right now needs a lot of fixing. They need as much reform as the city needs reform. So we're looking to do both. So if you're looking for a candidate who represents real change inside the Democratic Party, outside the Democratic Party, for Norwalk in general, that's us. We're the little engine that could. We have no big people following us. You've been doing these interviews. I'm probably the least known person that sat down next to you. That's what we represent. We represent the people in this town who are fed up with the way things have been running, and the people who are fed up with the way the Democrats, we have more Democrats than Republicans here, but yet we lose election after election.
Right.
The Democrats are fed up with themselves. And those are the people who are going to vote for Matt because they want to change everything, the whole city, the way we do everything. And I think he can do that.
Primary day, September 10th. You'll find out where you can vote and full primary results on itsrelevant.com.